Cleopatra 7 Philopater. It is one of the most famous names in all of history. A name that instantly conjures a specific image. The quintessential Egyptian queen, the ruler of the Nile, the mistress of pyramids, pharaohs, and untold wealth. She is the face of ancient Egypt in the popular imagination. But what if I told you that this image, we see her in films and books as the ultimate Egyptian queen, exotic, powerful, and utterly, completely Egyptian? But what if I told you that this iconic image is one of history's greatest illusions? What if the woman we think we know was in fact something entirely different? Today we're embarking on a historical detective story to uncover the truth about Cleopatra's identity. We're going to trace her bloodline, decode her political genius, and finally answer the question, was Cleopatra really Egyptian? The answer is more complex and fascinating than you can imagine. Now you might be thinking, why does this matter? She lived over 2,000 years ago. But Cleopatra's story is a powerful lens through which we examine questions that are still relevant today. What defines our identity? Is it our DNA, the culture we embrace, the language we speak, or the gods we worship? Is nationality a fact of birth or a matter of choice? Understanding Cleopatra forces us to move beyond simple labels. Her life shines a light on the incredible cultural blending of the ancient world and makes us rethink what it meant to be a ruler. This isn't just about ancient history. It's about the very complexities of identity itself. To find the truth, we must start at the beginning, with her family. Cleopatra 7 Philopater was the last pharaoh of a royal line known as the Ptolemaic dynasty. And this dynasty was not Egyptian. It was thoroughly, unquestionably Greek. It all began with the conquests of Alexander the Great. When Alexander died in 323 BCE, his vast empire was divided among his generals. One of them, a man named Ptolemy the Soter, grabbed the rich prize of Egypt. He established a new capital at Alexandria, a city that became a gleaming beacon of Greek culture, home to the legendary library and lighthouse. For nearly 300 years, the Ptolemies ruled Egypt from this Greek-speaking bubble. They often married within their own family, uncle to niece, brother to sister, to keep their bloodline pure and their power consolidated. They portrayed themselves as Greek monarchs to the outside world, worshipping Greek gods and fostering Greek philosophy and art. For generations, they barely interacted with the Egyptian population they ruled. They didn't need to. They had an army. So by the time our Cleopatra was born in 69 BCE, her family had lived in Egypt for 3 centuries. But by blood, language, and culture, they were Macedonian Greek aristocrats. This is the first and most definitive part of our answer. Genetically, Cleopatra was Greek, but if the story ended there, it would be simple. And Cleopatra was anything but simple. She was a brilliant political strategist, and she understood a crucial truth her ancestors had ignored. To truly rule Egypt, you must become Egypt. While her predecessors barely deigned to learn a word of Egyptian, Cleopatra did something revolutionary. The Greek historian Plutarch tells us she was the first and only Ptolemy to actually learn the Egyptian language. Not only that, she was fluent in as many as 9 other languages, making her a formidable diplomat. She went much further. She actively participated in ancient Egyptian religious ceremonies, presenting herself not as a foreign ruler, but as the living incarnation of the goddess Isis. She embraced the full iconography of the pharaohs, dressing in traditional regalia and being depicted in temple art in the classic Egyptian style. This was a masterclass in public relations. She was crafting a narrative. She was keenly aware of her Greek heritage, but she strategically downplayed it for her Egyptian subjects. For them, she was a divine pharaoh, a protector of ancient traditions. For the Romans and Greeks, she could be a cultured Hellenistic queen. This chameleon-like ability to shift her identity was her greatest power. She wasn't just playing a part. She was synthesizing 2 vast cultures into a single, powerful persona to save her kingdom from being swallowed by the expanding Roman Republic. This complex, calculated duality is almost always erased in popular culture. Hollywood, from Claudette Colbert to Elizabeth Taylor, has given us a version of Cleopatra that is overwhelmingly, and often inaccurately, Egyptianized. These depictions focus on exoticism and glamour, stripping away her intelligence and her core Greek identity. They simplify a master of geopolitical strategy into a seductive trope. The real Cleopatra was likely far more pragmatic. Her famous meeting with Julius Caesar, for instance, wasn't about romance first. It was a brilliant military and political move to secure her throne against her brother. The seduction was a tool in her arsenal of statecraft. By forgetting her Macedonian roots, we forget what made her so extraordinary, her ability to bridge two worlds. So let's return to our original question. Was Cleopatra Egyptian? The evidence gives us a clear but nuanced verdict. Biologically and ethnically, she was Macedonian Greek. She was a descendant of Ptolemy I, a Greek general. Her first language was Greek and her culture was Hellenistic. However, politically, religiously, and in the eyes of her Egyptian subjects, she was a pharaoh of Egypt. She wasn't just a ruler, she was the embodiment of the state. A goddess queen who actively revived and championed ancient Egyptian traditions. So the truest answer is that Cleopatra was both. She was the last in a long line of Greek rulers. But she was also the first and only one who truly became Egyptian. She proves that identity isn't always a simple matter of birth. Sometimes it's a conscious, brilliant, and powerful choice. What do you think? Does bloodline define a leader, or do their actions and beliefs? Is Cleopatra's Greek ancestry more important, or her Egyptian legacy? I want to hear your verdict in the comments below. Let's get a debate going. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history's complexities, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Tap the bell icon so you don't miss our next journey into the past. Thanks for watching.